Good evening and welcome to a very special interview show of the Prode. Tonight, we turn our attention to a nation that continues to command global attention, not only for its resilience in the face of war, but also for its rapid strides in the digital domain. Amidst ongoing conflict, Ukraine has emerged as a notable player in digital innovation, AI governance, and cyber resilience. At a time when many governments are grappling with the implications of emerging technologies, Ukraine presents a unique case leveraging digital tools not only for survival but also for transformation. Its approach stands in contrast to those using AI and surveillance technologies primarily for control, raising important questions about the role of technology in strengthening governance, transparency, and individual freedoms. Joining me today to explore Ukraine's evolving role at the intersection of conflict, innovation, and global tech policy is Ms. Sofia Klymchuk, a Ukrainian AI policymaker, lawyer, and former civil servant. Sofia has been at the forefront of digital reforms at the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine for over 5 years and currently leads Ukraine's international AI policy and its digital integration with the European Union. Sofia, thank you so much for joining us and a very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'll be happy to share our experience, which I believe is quite unique.
Yeah, so my first question to you would be that despite the full-scale war, Ukraine continues to lead with digital innovation. So how is your work in AI governance helping reinforce Ukraine's digital sovereignty? And what message does this send to authoritarian regimes that use AI for control and not freedom?
To start with, I believe that technologies, they play a crucial role in Ukraine's war against Russia. So Ukraine is fighting and is basically defending own sovereignty and basically existence of the whole Ukrainian nation with drones, with AI, with advanced systems, with proactive approach in the innovative field. And I think that these technologies, this experience is crucial for our survival as a nation. And we are fighting in a cyber war that relies on innovations and technologies, but also defends human rights and democratic principle, not only in Ukraine, but also in the EU, in the European continent. So we should understand that AI will define the next political order and look precisely into this field. Because, as I said, if technologies are defining our future, our sovereignty, the AI will be crucial for the future of security in our continent, in Ukraine. And for myself, I would say that I cannot imagine a better place as as not in Ukraine working on AI policy, because like for me, the projects which I'm doing, they are like fully aligned with my personal mission. And currently, as you said, I work as an international expert on AI global governance and AI geopolitics, with tech laws, also leading EU integration process in this field, and working with international organizations and implementing AI policy in various sectors such as public administration, education, and even AI literacy, yes, to build this AI nation in Ukraine. And all of these projects, I see like a crucial potential and basically crucial power for us, for Ukraine, to become the next AI digital superpower in the EU and also on the continent.
Yeah.
Because the solutions which we are building in Ukraine, they are basically democratic innovations. These technologies, these tools, they are fighting back authoritarian regimes, totalitarian regimes. They are basically defending the crucial principles of democracy, like which are freedom, human rights, and human-based policies, and respect to the human dignity as well. And we also are building in the ministry with different stakeholders new AI strategy by 2030, which will cover a lot of sectors, and some of them will be related to economy, some of them to the education, but they are very interconnected because I see AI policy as a strategy itself. I do not divide them. And of course, defense and security, tackling propaganda, misinformation, disinformation is also possible because of democratic innovations, which are usually uh, somehow built on AI and algorithmic solutions. So I see that Ukraine's mission and the mission of the Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine to become among top 3 countries in AI implementation by 2030 is possible because we have a great window of opportunity, but also a unique experience, unique data, and unique talent that is that are basically able to build this AI dominance. So I wanna continue on this topic like for like hours and hours, but we can also stick to some. We can also go to some other questions.
Yeah,
Sorry, you
so
can.
Ukraine is often described as a digital front runner in Europe. So in the context of EU integration, how is Ukraine contributing to, or rather, simply adopting the EU's digital and AI regulatory agenda?
So yes, as a person who is building the AI negotiation strategy and the negotiations framework with the European Commission in AI sector, I can say that our approach is to follow best practices in AI regulation that are serving to protect human rights, democracy, rule of law. But at the same moment, we are looking for AI-friendly environment because it's also important to basically secure this place, this arena for AI innovations, for AI startups, for defense tech that will push back and fight back the enemy. And moreover, we are not just looking into this full alignment with the EU AI Act, but we are also advancing our own policy. And I think that one day when we will have a negotiation table with the EU, we will also contribute a lot to the EU regulations on AI. For instance, in Ukraine, we already launched the sandbox, which is helping startups, AI startups, and companies with ethical and legal expertises, especially to align with EU AI Act or any other international frameworks. And doing this, we are collecting feedback from these companies. Yes, so this is really interesting because EU AI Act is not in force in Ukraine, but we are already trying to understand how our companies should be prepared for the future regulations. And I also can say that in terms of AI sector, Ukraine can definitely contribute to the EU and to basically to support the EU digital independence in some way, because we are not just looking into regulations, we are building AI innovations. And one of them, which is basically one of my projects, this is the tool for advanced EU AI integration. So what do I mean? With this tool, we are trying to support or even simplify bureaucratic process of EU integration. Because with this AI solutions, we can much easier translate EU acquis. We can build AI table of concordance. So we can transpose some EU regulations into Ukrainian laws with advanced solutions. And it will help to close the gap of lack of human capital in Ukraine, lack of public servants in Ukraine due to the war challenges, and build the really effective good governance frameworks with AI GovTech.
As the world watches Ukraine stand on the front lines of both kinetic and digital war, what role can Ukraine play in shaping global norms on tech governance, cyber defense, and digital rights in democracies?
Yeah, thank you for this question because I oftenly work with different international organizations such as Council of Europe, OECD, and etc. And I see already like how other countries, how other experts are curious about Ukraine's experience, because what they see is that basically despite the war, Ukraine is innovating. And basically we are innovating in a very ethical way, yes, because we are like defending the core principles of democracy, as I said. And I see the great potential here because Ukraine can be a global leader in these ethical AI implications, especially given that Ukraine is very advanced in GovTech, and a lot of solutions which we are building are AI GovTech solutions. Yes, because GovTech is becoming AI GovTech in the next decade. And I think that basically this is a core principle, yes, like how can we advance in AI global governance, securing and embedding the core principles that will serve for good, for human good, yes. And I cannot imagine if there is any other country in the world who can contribute that much into this debate as Ukraine, yes, because we are basically tackling with this every day. And this is our core principles, yes. We are stick to them. We are aligned with these principles, and we prove this daily. So for me, digital diplomacy and AI diplomacy, which is really interesting topic that I want to explore in the next months, will be a key stream for Ukraine, but not in the term of learning or exchanging, but even more in a leadership way. So I think that Ukraine can lead in digital diplomacy in the next decade, sharing our experience, of course.
Yeah, so Ukraine's resilience against Russian cyber aggression has become a global case study. So, what have been the key digital strategies or innovations that allowed Ukraine to protect its systems and even thrive during the invasion?
So this is really big topic, but like not to say much. I think that Ukraine is already like a digital trailblazer in GovTech, because there is no doubt that since 2020 Ukraine did the most like tremendous uplift in GovTech solutions. We built the application that um, is basically that is used by more than 20 millions of Ukrainians. This is like huge number, and basically half of the country of Ukraine is using these tools. And moreover, I can say that the digital governance and digital resilience has become like a crucial step for Ukraine in February 2022, yes, when the full-scale invasion has started. And for me, for myself, like this ongoing war and this invasion has highlighted that Russia may be able to demolish some infrastructure. It may demolish something tangible, but it cannot stop innovations in a way, because Ukraine is just going to be more advanced and advanced, adapting, being so flexible, and building solutions which are inspiring other countries who are advanced, for instance, like Estonia or European members. They are asking us, how do you do this? How you are that much digital resilient? And this is really interesting how we became that much resilient in the cyber warfare. Because what is going now, it's basically a cyber war. And we should remember that like the war is not only on front line, but also in the cyberspace. And some of the cases which I can showcase right now is that electronic documents at the beginning of the full-scale invasion helped Ukrainian government to stay connected with our citizens and support their evacuation. For instance, yes, so basically people who tried to evacuate, they use the application, because there was no time to collect your papers. It was just a few minutes or few hours just to grab your phone and go to the Ukrainian border and evacuate your family, your children. And electronic governance helped a lot in this. I also can mention one case when our government developed a chatbot that helped to report the movement of Russian troops. And this tool helped Ukrainians to do it really securely, yes, because of course it's like a matter of security, of personal security, if you are reporting some sensitive and really vulnerable information in military. And we are also developing lots of electronic services that help Ukrainians to, for instance, get some reimbursement for the damaged property, or to get some papers in less bureaucratic way. I think this is really interesting moment when we see this kind of direct dialogue between people who need support from the government and the government on the other side that reacts so quickly, adapting all the services to the challenges that are raising daily. Like, yeah, we cannot predict what is going to be after, but we are able to react and be proactive in this. And I think this is kind of really interesting how Ukraine is using some kind of technologies that never meant to be used in this way. For instance, Starlinks. I think that many people, they already know about Starlinks only because of the war in Ukraine, and how these technologies helped Ukraine to resist and to fight is something unexplainable. Yes, nobody would expect this. I also see that we had a very interesting policy solution at the beginning of the full-scale invasion when Ukraine's data, like storage of data and data centers, they were moved to the cloud. So yes, so basically they were securely moved outside Ukraine just to protect the registers and the really sensitive data of Ukrainians from missile attacks or from being demolished by Russia. And lots of other examples, like when we launched the TV and radio in our Dia app, because Russia tried to destroy broadcasting infrastructure, but it cannot destroy or black out Ukraine's internet connection, yeah, because it's much more complicated. Even though they tried, because at some point, I remember more than 59% of base stations were off. It was a time of blackouts in Ukraine when energy infrastructure was destroyed. And of course, it caused a lot of damage to the internet connection in Ukraine. But we also created really interesting solutions. Yes, and fiber optic networks started like to be much more secure in Ukraine. And we had developed a policy of national roaming, and our citizens could switch between different telecom providers to get the most fast and the most high quality connections, like to be in touch with their relatives, with their families. And another example is Roam Like at Home policy, and it was my personal project when I worked in electronic communication team, because what we did is basically a really unprecedented case. So Ukraine is going to be the part of EU digital single market in roaming sector. And more than 4 million of Ukrainians now can use telecom services in the EU for free, just because they needed this support. And I think this is really interesting cases that basically were, reaction to the policy problems that we had because of war.
Yeah, so how does the ministry ensure that Ukraine's AI development remains grounded in democratic principles and values human dignity and transparency, even as technologies are being deployed in urgent defense and security contexts?
So I would say that we are committed to these principles, as I said previously. We developed a roadmap on AI regulation, and based on this roadmap, we also developed AI regulation white paper. It was collaborative effort between the ministry, between the expert committee which we have. We also asked some advices from the EU colleagues. This approach, this is like white paper on AI regulation, uh, some kind of developed, yes, basically developed the gradual approach, how we're gonna implement AI regulation in Ukraine. And it states that we have two stages, and Ukraine is now on the first stage. First stage is basically creating and supporting safe self-regulatory measures for Ukraine's ecosystem companies. And we are advancing this approach with some soft law tools. For instance, in the ministry, in collaboration with different stakeholders, we are drafting, developing, and publishing some AI guidelines in various sectors. For instance, how to securely and effectively implement AI in educational institutions, in schools, how lawyers can use AI ethically, how basically civil servants can use AI ethically. And we have more than 8 guidelines, and we are doing more and more. So this is really interesting case, and I like to speak about that a lot, especially in educational sector and in public service sector, because I see that while building AI nation, we should also speak about ethics of AI and as well as security of AI, which is really crucial for Ukrainians to understand all the risks of AI usage daily.
Yeah,
And of course, yes, sorry, just like, briefly want to touch framework convention of the Council of Europe, because Ukraine was actively participating in the development of this framework convention in the AI committee. But also we already have signed this framework convention. Basically, it was the first international treaty on AI that counts democracy, rule of law, human rights, and the methodology which is developed based on the framework convention, food area methodology, is actively piloting in Ukraine. So we already helped some startups to understand how their tools, how their products and AI systems can impact human rights, democracy, and rule of law. And we got really interesting feedback from them, and I see great potential in that, how we can be advanced in this framework convention implications in Ukraine. We are going to ratify it soon. And of course, we follow OECD AI principles. We signed Bletchley Declaration. We follow UNESCO principles, and like we are just building all these policy solutions, currently soft law, but on the second stage, as I mentioned, we will shift to this hard law, which will be aligned with EU AI Act, given the EU integration process of Ukraine. So as I said, 2 stages. First one is building soft law tools, supporting and preparing Ukraine's ecosystem to the second stage. And second stage is EU AI Act.
yeah. So you have worked extensively at the intersection of tech and foreign policy. So how is Ukraine using digital diplomacy not only to fight disinformation, but also to build international alliances in tech and governance space?
Yeah, I think this is very beginning of building alliances. And recently you may have heard that Ukraine signed a big collaboration project with the EU on defense tech. And AI will be decisive, yes, for the future of warfare. And here I see that Ukraine is a really, how to say, unique partner, because we have data, we have experience, we have human capital, like talent, which basically has some kind of knowledge that any other citizens or any other developers couldn't get, because they haven't worked in Ukraine's warfare on the front line with defense tech technologies. So we are like learning by doing, but this experience is so unique. And I would say that for Ukraine, it's really crucial to build this win-win alliances, win-win partnerships. Because of course we lack some kind of capabilities which are crucial for AI infrastructure. But at the same moment, we can provide something really rare, yes, something really unique. I want to repeat, but yes, it is.
Yeah, so from Chevening to Globsec, you have represented Ukraine on multiple powerful global platforms. So I would like to conclude the discussion by asking that what drives your commitment to tech policy, and what do you hope the world understands about the new generation of Ukrainian leaders shaping their digital future?
I like the question about the personal mission, because I'm really glad that my personal mission has become fully aligned with my work. So I do not divide like my daily life with my work responsibilities, because like this is a whole ecosystem for myself, and I serve daily for this because I believe in that in it sincerely. I've been working on Ukraine's digital transformation for more than 5 years, and I experienced like a huge paradigm shift in my work after full-scale invasion, because my work started to be much more interesting. And of course, war has opened some kind of opportunities. And I think that despite everything, despite all the horrifying circumstances and attacks we have in Ukraine, we cannot lose a chance to turn this obstacle into opportunity. Because like I personally believe, I think it's my superpower to do this as well, but also for Ukraine, it's really important to somehow use and utilize this window of opportunity to basically build some kind of solutions that will tackle policy issues, policy problems, help with reconstruction, help with public administration reform, with recovery, with economic prosperity. Yes, and we can provide a lot of dual use technologies after all. And that is why I really believe that AI is the future of Ukraine's prosperity and democratic existence. I think AI will also help us to build some kind of resilient nation, because now in the ministry we are developing national large language model that will also count and will also be built on Ukrainian cultural, economic, societal, like and historical context. It is really important, like to be resilient with technologies and especially with AI, because if we explore the geopolitical race on AI, it's not just about economic prosperity or just competitiveness. It's basically about the power, about the global dominance. And if Ukraine can be more powerful with AI, I want to do this. And that's why I believe that turning Ukraine success into future of AI next superpower can be a great mission, not only for me, but also for my peers, for other people who are working with me. And we should remember this daily while working and doing some kind of tasks that can contribute to this global mission. And I think that, we should think about technologies in a very creative way somehow, because democratic innovations, they can help people, they can serve people, and they basically can help us to survive and to defend democracy. And of course, AI will decide the next geopolitical order and the future of democratic regime at all. And I can speak a lot on intersection of AI and democratic institutions and democratic regimes and geopolitics, but I want to maybe conclude with a really interesting quote, which I like, and I usually use it in my presentations when I deliver some speeches on digital resilience of Ukraine, that thinking about the geopolitical environment and how it fits back explains how and when countries innovate. And this quote, this phrase is basically about Ukraine. And I hope it won't be related only to Ukraine, because in some way, Ukraine can stop this, and our allies, our partners, they should do everything to support us in this endeavor, in this effort.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
thank you so much, Sophia, for sharing your insights on how Ukraine is navigating the intersection of war, technology, and democratic governance. Your work underscores not only Ukraine's resilience, but also its growing leadership in shaping the global digital order. As the world confronts complex questions around AI, cybersecurity, and digital rights, Ukraine's examples offer both urgency and inspiration. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on the Prode.
Thank you so much for inviting me.